back to the Rock of Truth podcast. This is Nick Statterman with Joe Metzger and Jake Sopko. Season 2, Episode 6 airing tonight. First, a word from our sponsor. Rock of Truth is sponsored by Serenity Apparel. In a society constantly telling people who to be and where to go, Serenity Apparel vitalizes a different path. Your path. Follow your passion, stay true to your values, and find serenity in who you were created to be. Use ROCK10 for 10% off your purchase at shopserenityapparel.com. Serenity Apparel, welcome to your escape. Fellas, episode 6, 1-0 once again in the American Athletic Conference. Another good win, defeating the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. How we feel?
I feel great, Nick. It's a victory Thursday, man. Can't complain.
I'm fired up that we never have to play Tulsa again, or I don't have to watch a Tulsa game again. I'm fired up for that. I don't know about you two.
It looks a little gloomy there out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've never been, but the vibes looked off through my TV screen. I don't know what it was like there, but I agree. I'm glad we don't have to go back there. Things seem to get a little bit heated at the end of it. Should we just start off with that? Did you guys see that right before it cut out? Maybe we'll have to ask our guest about that, what happened. But on TV, it looked like it was about to go down.
You had some. It seemed to me we were texting during the game. You had some sort of inside scoop going on what was happening. I'm sure Dio, when he comes on, will be able to kind of tell us a little bit more. But it was chippy the whole game. A lot of penalties, a lot of late hits. There were just the entire game was kind of a crap fest for the most part.
Yeah, it wasn't that exciting. And I know we can break down the numbers and stuff. I don't think there's too much time that we need to spend on it. Obviously, the defense was the one who was the star of the show, and Statty, I'll let you talk more about that. But what like we talked about, like it's always kind of just like a boxing match with those guys for whatever reason. And thankfully we came out on top, but it just kind of, the game was, I don't know. It was just happy to get out of there with a W. There wasn't anything too exciting going on, I thought.
The weird thing about Tulsa, I feel like every year, is they play us so tough, and they are a tough football team. Like, we got to give credit where it's due, but they always seem to, like, a lot of tough football teams. Like, I wouldn't see them losing bye games earlier in the year, but every year they have, like, these bad non-conference losses that hurt their resume. Like, I don't think they're a bad football team, but if you look every year for the last 3 years, they always lose these, like, weird non-conference games they shouldn't lose. So that's what kind of is boggling about Tulsa every year is they play us so tough. They look like a tough football team. They look the part, and then for some reason they lose to, like, Northern Colorado in early September, and you're like, what's the matter with you guys? Like, how does that happen? Like that's where I'm kind of always confused with Tulsa.
Do you know the mascot for Northern Colorado?
No idea. What is it?
I don't know. I didn't know that was a school, honestly. That's what I was asking. No, but yeah, you guys hit on the head. I mean, I think this is the most pressure-free the Bearcats have been going into a Tulsa game. I mean, the AAC championship, and then I believe we played them late. It wasn't in the conference. I think it was when we played Houston in the conference championship. But when we played them late, there's always a little bit more pressure, I think, on the Bearcats just because of the positions and we were at that point in the season. So I think, honestly, with it being conference opener for us this year, helped us out a lot. And I don't know, we seem to be their Super Bowl. So, but too bad for them. They keep catching L's, but not much, like Jake said, to harp on. Just some key things. Obviously, defense just is going nuts this year still. Anytime you tie a record and get 11 sacks in a game, you should be winning a football game. And, double-digit sacks, that's a lot. So credit, not only to the guys up front, but defense as a whole. DBs covering their guys and even LBs getting in there, getting on the action, getting to that quarterback. So I think defensively, a great look. Everybody's talked about it across the media, just how they ran the heck out of the ball on us last year, held them only to 36 rushing yards. pretty good, but they're a different Tulsa team and they like to air it out for some reason. I don't know. I'd give it to that big running back every time, but that's just me.
So 11 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, and a pick 6. What's that looking like fantasy points? Can somebody do the math on that? I mean, that's a solid day at the office for the Bearcat defense.
It's at least 40, right? Probably 50.
I don't know about 40, but it's pretty damn good.
I don't know what the breakdown is.
Remember 3 weeks ago when I put in our group message, I was questioning the defensive line's ability to get pressure on the quarterback. That was a smart take by me 3 weeks ago.
Freezing cold takes.
Yep. Hey, Statty, can you walk us through like what makes the defensive line effective? Like what makes them good? Like they're like from a football mind standpoint.
Yeah, for sure. There we go. Claus the Bear is the Northern Colorado mascot. That's awesome. Thank you, Eric. I love that. So I think it doesn't only take an individual that's a really good pass rusher, like we saw last year to Myjai Sanders, but it just takes the position group as a whole to kind of settle in and build that trust and that confidence in the man that's lining up next to you, and that you both are going to give 100%, whether if you're the guy setting up the end for the sack, if you're running a twist, or just finding that cohesiveness and that good relationship just rep after rep, during practice and during all those games, just finally figuring out how that relationship between that end and nose, or even both ends, just everybody level rushing, staying true to their rush lane. And at the end of the day, I mean, those guys up front, we're rolling a lot of guys, which is something we haven't done a lot in the D-line room in Fickle's era. And I think it's really showing to be a positive, because it's fresh legs, and we got a lot of guys that are going out there and playing. I mean, I think it's at least 7 that are rolling out there and getting at least about 15 snaps. Now those are kind of guessing numbers, but yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Something I noticed about our defense this year, and this is just coming from like a non-football mind, so I might sound stupid, but like Ivan Pace creates so much chaos when he blitzes. Does that how much of effect does that have on an offensive line to allow the opening for other defensive linemen to make plays and get sacks and stuff like that? Like he causes so much chaos when he blitzes. Like he'll take at a time. He's like only 6 feet tall. He'll take on 2 people at a time. It's actually so fun to watch. But
Does
that create and help open up lanes for other people as well?
For sure. I mean, if the O-line is worried about a guy that's in the second level, then yeah, it's free game up front. The O-line, obviously, their focus should be on blocking the D lineman, but if they're looking past him, then yeah, that's going to create more opportunities and allow more flexibility and freedom for that D lineman. But like you said, I mean, the best thing I think that we do with Ivan is when he's not even the primary rusher, more when he's kind of the pick guy for our nose guard, and he's somehow literally, like, I just remember the clip against the Tulsa center. He is probably at chest level, like Ivan's shoulders are at chest level of the Tulsa center, and he's still driving the guy back, like under control. He's just under those pads, and I think you clearly can't block him. He's shown that he's unblockable in that position. And so, yeah, taking up 2 guys at, like you said, maybe 6 feet tall, that's huge for your D linemen, especially your edge rushers. Those tackles are going to get left on islands more, creating those one-on-one opportunities, and you just got to capitalize, which I think obviously our guys are, and that they're going to continue to do that. So I'm excited for the continuous blitzes that are going to be drawn up, and love that D line getting after it.
Yeah, it was good to see too. Briggs getting back involved. He was a little quiet throughout the first a couple of weeks, I felt, but maybe not. Just it's hard to say. Just because you don't have the statistics doesn't mean you're not doing your job and doing it well, especially on the defensive line, like you were saying, like twists and stuff, opening it up for other rushers and whatnot. But he really made a mark in the stat sheet this week: 1.5 sacks, 1.5 tackles for loss. So that was good to see. And then Jabari, dude, getting the Rock of Truth bump. 2.5 sacks and 3.5 tackles for loss after coming on the Rock of Truth. Is that just a coincidence, or are we taking credit for that, or what?
I think we should get a percentage. I mean, he had 0 going in, so hey.
So
No.
Everyone's a friend of the Rock of Truth, plays better on the football field. It's just a fact.
Love it. But yeah, just kind of wrapping up that D-line, like you said, Joe, you know, guys just getting more and more opportunities. And, you know, Barry's a great example. Just no sacks to then. It's almost kind of like, man, finally, like, let me go get my 2.5 sacks, 3.5 TFLs. And I think we're going to see that more and more. It's just going to be a different guy every week, which is a beautiful thing. What I thought stood out offensively was Kiner getting his first 100-yard game. I think that's big time. I know you had a big run, 12 carries for 106. That's efficient.
It's almost 9 yards a carry. That's solid.
Yeah, and then Jake, I got kind of a question for you. Watching that game, I mean, defense was on the field a lot in that first half, more so first quarter. And I don't make fun of me as a defensive guy here for this question, but like, do you try and find more of a balance offensively, or is it like, hey man, if they're not going to guard us and we're going to go score, we're just going to keep scoring? Like, I just, you know, I know that defense was on the field just a lot in that first quarter, especially.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that you think about, and there's conversations that go on within the headset, like, hey, we got to help our defense out here. Hey, we got to do this. But at the same time, you got to stick to your game plan. You know, you don't want to necessarily change like what you game planned on offense and what you think is going to be successful. You want to help your defense, but at the same time, you can't completely change it just to, for lack of a better term, save their ass. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you know, we have to go and do our job. This is what we prepared all week, and this is what we think is going to be successful. So we're going to stick to it. I think definitely more so in like the second half of games is like the games get long. That might be more so when you're like, hey, we really got to help our defense out. And maybe we're going to lean on the run game a little bit more if it's there and stuff like that. But I think off the bat, especially in the first half, you gotta go with what works, right? I mean, you can't necessarily change your game plan completely in the beginning half for that. But like you said, it was good to see Kiner kind of have a little bit of a breakout game. And again, the offense, I mean, they were efficient. They weren't setting any records or anything like that, but it was, you know, it was a win's a win. We're not going to complain about winning football games, right? So,
right. Good to see 81 back in the end zone. Always a good time.
Yeah, I agree. We,
Awesome.
I know teams are locked in on him, and we've been, you know, hoping to get him more touches and stuff. But like you said, too, it's just a confidence builder too, for him to get back into the end zone and kind of see that through. So, I think that's good for the offense as a whole.
I was with 81's brother at a wedding the other weekend, and he was wanting 81 to come on our podcast. Like, as a friend of 81, are you going to convince him to come on our podcast? Is that going to happen, or are we just going to like break it to the fans that he's not coming on? Like, are you going to be able to make that happen?
Yeah, I'll definitely talk to him. I mean, I lived with the guy for like a year. And I know he's kind of big time now, so he might try to big time us. We might have to like talk to his agent and get it okayed by him and whatnot. But we're still close. We're in a group chat, so I think we can definitely convince him to come on here and chop it up a little bit.
That's awesome.
I mean, we were barely fortunate enough to play in a golf scramble with him and Six God Ben Bryant. So I think we kind of need to slow down a little bit. I'd love to get 81 on here, but I think, you know, taking it one step at a time, and then maybe, just maybe, he might finally bite on it. But
Eddie, don't forget, me and you did get QB1 on our show, and so we can't like, don't be like trying to help Soppy out here. Like, he's got to do his job and get people on the show. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna cut him any. Like, he's our plug. So, you know, we got to pressure Soppy into getting people on this pod. Me and you got the QB1 on the pod. We did enough work for like an entire year. So
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and I think that rolls right into this week's guest, a protector of QB1. We had a D lineman in last week. We're gonna go on the other side, O line here, bringing on the big man Dylan O'Quinn. Do.
Oh. Dio, can you hear us? I'm worried about our boy Dio's Wi-Fi situation, boys.
Oh, we got a visual.
He's going in the closet.
I think he's giving us MTV Cribs a tour here.
While we're just putting it all out there, get things straight, Joe, I'm gonna call you out as well. It's hard to hear your audio, and I know you got a sick setup, but if you want to move the phone closer to you too, just so we can get all of our audio, so we're really rolling and rocking and rolling.
Can you hear me better now?
Oh, way better.
Nice.
I wish
nice
you guys would tell me that.
Yeah, I texted you like 8 times, but you weren't checking your phone because you're using it. So I
Dio.
thought I'd put it out there.
Dio. Oh, man.
All righty, and that was Dylan O'Quinn, everybody. Appreciate Dio for hopping on the pod.
Let's give it up for Dio, baby.
Oh, man. For those on the audio, typical technical difficulties like we like to have here on the Rock of Truth. We're going to figure him out. We're going to get him back on here.
Am I able to bring up what I was going to ask Dio, though? It was going to be a great question to start, too.
Well, let's hold off on it. Let's see if he gets back.
Okay. We gave him about 30 seconds.
I'm going to call an audible here. Let's give him some time to figure it out. Let's jump into UCF and hit UCF.
Never mind. Don't we play SF?
USF. Yeah, USF. Sorry, I'm
all Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, let's go.
It finally got downloaded.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Dude, welcome to the Rock of Truth podcast, Dio.
It's an honor to be here, guys. Thank you.
Don't be too excited now. I know we're a hot topic in that locker room, aren't we? Everybody's
you are
to get on here. Huh?
Mario was actually talking about you guys today.
Really? Was he talking shit, or did he have like some good things to say? What was he? Can you give some feedback?
You know, he just kind of gave me some pointers, told me that you guys are a great group of guys, and that's a great podcast.
Gosh.
Hey, Dio, we never met before, but it's nice to meet you. But I got a great question for you to start this thing off. Like we were talking earlier, and I've been doing the math. So Bari had 2.5 sacks this week and 3 tackles for loss after coming on the pod. Okay. Benny the Jet came on the pod. He won the QB1 job. Josie D came on the pod. He got drafted by the Packers. So like good things happen to people that come on this podcast. Were you starting to kind of see that trend and you decided like, I want to pancake some dudes this week in Nippert Stadium, so I need to go on the Rock?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Sop reached out to me, I was like, hey, this is going to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
I love that.
We got to get you a touchdown this week. I don't know how.
Fumble Rooski.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great.
Love it.
Have you talked to Gito about that? Like finding a way to get you it's kind of hard the position you're at, but like finding a way to
mentioned to Gito.
Yeah.
I've told him for 3 years now he needs to put in a little package for me, but he's not really going for it.
I mean, you were a tight end, right, in high school? Or is that not
exactly?
True? Yeah,
that's wrong. Yeah, that's true. I was a tight end, defensive end, and quarterback actually my first 2 years.
There we go.
Are you a better quarterback than Jake Sopko?
Why does everybody got to ask that?
No. In my opinion, I think Sopko should have been the starter. But
whoa, the truth comes out.
Thank you, dude. You and my dad.
That's not my decision.
You and my dad are the two that were really like had that same opinion and that were pushing for it. It's unfortunate that the coaches didn't see it that way as well.
Man, love it, Dio. I got a good question here for you, and I'm not going to wait to ask it. So, are you ready for this? I'm gonna kind of steal.
I'm ready.
A Luke Fickell classic here of student athlete. Right. So now in your unique situation, does it go father, student, and then athlete, or what? How's that go?
Yeah, it would go father, student. No, father, athlete, student.
Okay.
Athlete, student,
I
not a
messed up
student athlete.
the numbering there, but you get
I love it. I love it.
You know,
Dude,
actually, I'm done with classes now. I just have that Miss Carey internship.
It's a great class. I took that. It's pretty hard not to get an A in that one.
Dio, are you a sports admin major?
No, actually, communications.
Man, what do we think's easier, communications or sports admin? Me and Spani used to have this argument all the time.
I'd say communications.
Dude, I got my
Because when
undergrad
you're in sports admin, you got to take math class.
Yeah.
I did my undergrad in communications, and it's kind of a joke. It's so easy. It's so easy. And I got my MBA, and that was really hard. But when I was coaching last season, like, being a GA, you have to take classes. And I was doing my second master's in sports administration, and it was like, I thought it was harder than my MBA. Like, it was hard. It was difficult.
Really? Well, I started out in sports admin, and then Miss Carey was like, all right, well, you have to take a few math classes. And I was like, all right, I'll switch it up because I'm not doing math.
Wait, you guys don't have to take any math classes as a communications major?
No.
All we had to do was we had to do quantitative reasoning. It's like level 101.
You take like one math class, and it's like college prep math, and you just got to get past that. And then you're just talking about like nonverbal and verbal communications, and you're kind of just we were just kind of hanging out, dude, but it was fun.
Love it. Dio, was that your first time at Tulsa?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, nice.
And I'm glad it's my last.
Well, Jason Cooper's got a great question for us here. How much money would it take for any of us to visit Tulsa again?
It's got to be a pretty high number. I didn't find the place very attractive. It was like a high school game, honestly, like a big high school game.
Can you tell us if something was about to go down during that handshake line after the final whistle blew? Because ESPN showed like it was about to go down or something, and then it cut to the next game. And we want to know, somebody who was there, what happened. What can you tell us?
Things just got a little too heated at the end. I knew something was going to happen. Somebody was going to do something. Our defense was getting into some trouble with their offense. But I will say our offense kept our cool. We were good. But yeah, things just got heated. That's all I can really say about it.
That's all he's legally allowed to say. I like that. That's a good answer.
Good cover.
Yeah. This guy's PR trained. He knows what he's talking about.
He's a seasoned veteran.
I got a question for you, Dio. Kind of, we Statty dropped in like very slyly that you were a father. And I know Dez got like all the press for baby Layton and all that and all that stuff, which was really cool to see. But you also had a baby boy, Riley, who's like one of the cutest kids I've ever seen. Can you talk about like that, like what that's been like, that transition into being a father and juggling being a dad and classes and football and all that?
Well, definitely made me grow up a lot. As you know, when I was younger, I was a wild kid. I joke around with all the guys. They always say like, wow, man, you used to be so fun. And now look at you. Like I'm telling people, wow, I gotta pick up my kid from the babysitter. Like, sorry, I can't go get dinner with you guys. But it's been a great transition for me. Like I said, just made me mature a lot. And I think it's made me grow even in football. Like it's made me be more disciplined. It's made me like be more focused on things now that I have like a goal for my family. But I will say being in his shadow last year did anger me.
Mhm.
You know, his baby's getting put on ESPN and nobody's paying attention to mine. But I won't talk about it too much.
I do have a question though. I see on your girl's page, Riley's a little bit of a model, right? Am I correct in saying that? Have I seen him doing some modeling?
Yeah, there was a baby boutique that opened up, and they wanted him to get in their clothes and model for him.
So is that career going to?
I told Leah that. No, I told her it has to stop at the age of 5.
At the age of 5?
That's the cutoff. Yeah, so he doesn't get too into it.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, you that's 5 years. Maybe he can pay the bills for you guys. Really rack it up. We can go global. We can get
That's
like
what I'm saying. I mean, we got a couple free outfits.
What if Soppy and Icon Living decided to like get you guys an NIL deal, you and Riley, where you guys are like modeling together, you know, and you were getting paid the big bucks? Would you take it? Would you go with it?
Oh, I would totally do that.
Yeah, I could see it.
I'll put that down in the notes right now.
I mean,
Okay.
Dio, he gets that skill from you. You know, you've had some good couple runway walks through that locker room a couple times now. So, I mean, apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, huh?
That's true. That's true.
Dio, you played, like, football question. You played tackle last year. You got moved to guard this year, correct? Like, what's that transition look like? Do you feel comfortable there? Like, which one do you kind of enjoy more? Like, what's that transition look like? Can you walk us through that?
It's a good question, Joe.
Great question.
Thanks, Soppy.
Yeah, actually, my sophomore year, I played left guard, and then they bumped me to right tackle last year, and then now I'm at right guard. I've always kind of like said I'm like the duct tape to the offensive line. They just kind of put me whatever needs fixed. So it's been tough not being able to focus on one position, but also like it just builds my resume with versatility. It's pretty easy for me to play all 5. So it wasn't really a huge transition. It's just the amount of space that I'm playing in, really.
Okay.
You were the backup center at one point, right? I feel like a couple times you've been the backup center.
Yeah, I think that was like sophomore spring.
Yeah.
When COVID first started coming out.
Hey, and not only has Dio got versatility on the line, but now that he's been on the Rock, he's going to get boosted. Like, his draft stock's going to go up like 4 rounds.
Yeah. That's a fair assessment. I got another couple good football questions for you as well, Dylan. You got a new O-line coach. Yeah. Which I know in your last year, that's always not necessarily ideal. But I would like to hear about how that transition's been. You know, what's different from coach now compared to Coach Crook and kind of what that's been like.
Yeah, you know, I think as much as I loved Coach Crook and the relationship we had, at first I was a little weary of it, but I think it's been a great transition. This new coach, Mike Cummings, he's been having us playing harder than we ever have. I mean, we have 4 offensive linemen on the play hard board now. Mm-hmm. And the mentality of how we're playing now is just completely different. It's less passive. It's very aggressive. We're running off the ball this year. And we've changed up a couple of technique things, and I think it's been great for us.
I like that. That was going to be my follow-up question is obviously offensive line is one of those positions that's so technique driven, and that's such a key aspect of it. And I was thinking more so the new coach and even in Coach Gino being the OC, taking over. Are the schemes different at all? The blocking schemes? I know protection is protection. You got your man side and your zone side, and those rules don't change a whole lot, but more so in the run game. Have a lot of the run schemes changed blocking wise, or the same as last year, or is there any difference?
We have the similar schemes. I think it's just how we go about the blocks are different. Like I said, the technique of how we do things are different. We're not doing some of the things we did last year. Coach Cummings' number one thing is rob dent, which is run off the ball and dent the front. He's worried about taking care of the down 4 or down 3 and then get up to the second level.
Okay, I like that. Rob Dent.
Rob Dent.
Rob Dent kind of sounds like an actor who would be on like It's Always Sunny or like some type of sitcom show.
Yeah. It was our first meeting with him. He was like, "You guys know who Rob Dent is?" We're all like, "No, who the hell's Rob Dent?" He's like, "Run off the ball, Dent." He's like going crazy on us, dude. He's like got insane fire to him.
Love that. Dio, what what is your favorite sitcom TV show? What are you laying up with Riley late at night watching?
I mean, The Office is always one you can just put on and don't really have to pay attention to.
Classic.
Always Sunny is a great one, but that might be a little too explicit for Riley. You might learn some of the words that are on that show.
What's he into?
Those two are pretty much my go.
Is he into like Paw Patrol? Or like
he's Paw Patrol. Loves Paw Patrol. Loves the movie Sing 2. Like we downloaded that on my iPad, and honestly, it's a great movie. I watch it probably 3 times a week, and I don't get tired of it.
Dude, me and the lady had a couple glasses of wine one Saturday night, and we watched Sing 2, and that movie is awesome. Have you guys seen it, Joe?
I watched Sing 2, and then I made my fiance watch Sing 2, and she loved it too. Like it's actually, I've watched it like 3 times. It's unreal.
It's a great movie. We watched Sing 1, and it wasn't the same as Sing 2.
Dude, I don't know. I saw Sing 1 when it came out, and it was like, this movie's awesome. I wasn't expecting anything. I was like, dude, this movie's awesome. I loved it. And then I was kind of like, I don't know if I need to watch Sing 2. And then we watched that. I'm like, this stuff's great, man.
I will say Sing 2 is better than Sing 1, but Sing 1's really good. Like Sing 1 gives us the build up to Sing 2. And anytime like McConaughey is like an animated character, it's like electric. Like I love every second of it.
I was gonna say, don't give it away. I gotta get hip. I think I'm gonna watch it tonight.
You should.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Theo, got more of a nonchalant, almost not a locker room question, but we'll call it a locker room question. Chris Ferguson used to throw down on the grill for the squad, and it kind of seemed like you were following into that role a little bit when we were fortunate enough to live in Corey. Is that something you did take on before everybody moved, or were you not able to put on a big cookout for the squad?
I never did a big cookout for the squad, just for some of my roommates. But I will say we had a steak competition this year.
That's right.
And that Colin would put on our nutritionists. And I won, of course. But what's crazy is on the show that they do, they showed somebody else winning. But like I have the receipts and my messages that I won.
Whoa.
That's BS.
Wow.
You always trust a big guy cooking a steak. I would trust a big guy cooking a steak than anybody else.
Right.
Yeah. And some that DO put me onto, which is just a classic grill move, is the toasted bun on a burger. I mean, something so simple, and yet when I saw him do that, I had to pick my jaw up off the floor. It was incredible.
You never did that before?
So thank you, Dio. I just, not myself. No, I never, I guess I didn't respect myself enough to do that. I always thought I'd catch the bun on fire. I don't know.
Yeah,
I will say, I like that. I always loved like waking up like from a nap on a Saturday, like off-season Saturday, like 6 o'clock, and going out on my balcony and seeing Dio and Woodside, like drinking a Bud Light, grilling out, getting ready to enjoy their Saturday evening. That always made me smile.
Yeah.
Probably some good times.
Yeah, playing some Luke Combs or something, just blaring it on a speaker.
Oh yeah.
Well, the best was when you guys moved down to the townhome and you just had an unreal setup on the smallest square of cement ever. Like you had a grill and like 6 lawn chairs somehow on your front porch. I'm like, these guys are awesome. It was
For the
impressive.
longest time, we wanted to put a fire pit out there too.
Yeah, that's a fire hazard for sure.
That wouldn't have gone well.
Yeah, that's why we did it. But we wanted it out there.
That's awesome. Dylan, you were named a captain this year, right? Or that correct?
Yeah.
Can you talk about like what that meant to you and kind of like having your teammates obviously like vocalize that, you know, they see you as a leader and voting for you to be a captain on the team? I mean, that's a huge honor. Would love to hear your take on that and like what your thoughts were when you found that out.
Yeah, that honestly meant a lot to me because, you know, as you guys know, like in my younger years, like I was just that guy who would try and rally the troops, go out to the bars. Like I kind of focused a little more on fun than I did on football. And then once I started playing my sophomore years, when I like really started focusing on football, but I was still like that guy that I don't think people took serious. And then last year was just kind of like a breakout year for me where it was just like football's on my mind and I was just like tunnel visioned into it and I bought into everything. You know, and I think last year I was more of a leader by example. And this year I've really taken the step to lead, not just by example, but like vocally and just try and be like a glue to the offense. And to see my teammates like pick up on that kind of stuff, it meant a lot to me.
That's awesome. We talked a little bit with Jabari last week, just about how he stepped up with Malik going down. Can you talk a little bit about losing, you know, Renfro? You know, not only just a great player, but that center position, that guy that's calling the shots up front. Kind of how did that lead to you? You know, probably being more vocal, like you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Renfro, like, I mean, I've been playing again with him for a few years, and like we had a super tight bond, and we like were kind of those guys on the O line where we didn't really need to make a call to each other. We knew what we were doing. Like we just kind of knew each other like the back of our hands, and so like seeing him go down, it sucked a lot. I felt for him a lot. This is gonna be a big year for him and his future. But he's going to bounce back next year and do great things. But, you know, Gavin Gerhardt, he stepped into that center position and he's done a hell of a job. Like in the spring when Jake was out, he was running center with the ones with a broken hand. And he was doing a great job getting his communication down. And his knowledge for the game has really grown a lot too.
That's awesome. That's what we like to hear. I think I just got a couple like stupid like questions that I'll throw at you and we can all just jump in and then we'll let you go on with the rest of your night unless Joe, you have like some groundbreaking football question you want to throw in there. Or do we want to?
Dude, I've been waiting all night to hear about the Travis Kelce homecoming story from you. So I'm just making sure you know that. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, we'll save that for later. Speaking of homecoming, do you have like, do you care that it's homecoming, Dylan? Like, are you more excited that do you give a shit about that? Is there this week's homecoming? If you didn't know,
what's your GSF on homecoming?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't excite me anymore than a regular game does. Although, you know, campus is a little more alive on homecoming weekend. Alumni come back, and also, if you didn't know this, Dana Beers and Glennie Balls are coming here this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that'll be big. I'm gonna try and see if I can connect with Dana and get him into the locker room.
That'd be awesome.
Nice.
But we'll see.
That would be huge for his recruitment to the University of Cincinnati. I'm all for that. If you can pull that off. I messaged him that he could come on the Rock if he wanted, but no response. So it's all good though.
Yeah, Dio, I have an idea. I have a sick idea, and I'm just gonna throw it out there to you. Like I could just see Glenny Balls and Dana Beers like arm in arm with Fickle, like leading us out of the tunnel. Like I think that'd be huge for like their recruitment. You know,
That would be huge.
you remember?
Yeah, and if we could get him like a side pass.
Yeah. Do you remember when PFT and Big Cat went out of the tunnel with Coach O? That was so sick. Like if they did that,
No,
like we did that with Dana Beers and Glenny Balls, it would be just as cool. I feel like.
That would
You know
be
what? I bet you Coach Fick would be open to that.
I think he should just throw it out there this week of practice, like tomorrow during like walkthrough. Like Coach Fick, what do you think about like Balls and Beers like walking out of the tunnel with us on Saturday
Yeah, just say balls and beer.
Balls and beers.
for the brand?
That's awesome.
Dio, are you still holding down the crown for best beard on the team, or has a young guy come in and stolen that from you? I mean, that thing's looking gnarly.
You know, I think I still have the crown, but sadly, like a week ago, I trimmed it down, and it was big, dude. It was like right there, but I think my girlfriend had enough of it, and I just decided to take it down to make her happy.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably smart. I mean, you've been grinding on that thing, dude. You've been putting in the
I'm
time
trying.
to develop that. I remember you used to ask me a lot of questions, what I did, how to get some thickness, a little girth to it. So I think you figured it out, and it looks great.
Well, thank you. That's a great compliment. It's probably the best compliment I could receive.
I love that. I just had two quick questions, just to throw it out there. I think the O-line obviously never gets enough shine. We never get enough personality out of the O-line. We know in the locker room, we always know like they're a fun group, and like I always loved around being the O-line because they're fun guys to hang out with. But they don't, you don't really see their personality all that much. So I just had a couple random questions from your perspective about the O-line. So I'm going to put you in a couple scenarios. Starting out with this one, so you're stuck on an island, right? You got to pick two of the boys in the O-line room to be on the island, stuck on the island with you. Who you picking and why?
Well, my first answer, without a doubt, is Joe Huber. I mean, do you guys know him at all?
Yeah, he doesn't say a word.
That kid is awesome. I mean, we've really like cracked his shell this year, and he's like the one guy on the team I would take with me into a bar fight, into like any survival situation, because like that kid's like a Navy SEAL, dude. He just goes. He the other day I saw him dry swallow 5 ibuprofen, just like no water, anything, just popped them in there, swallowed them. I'm like, what are you doing? He's insane. And another one, dude. Picking the second one is tough. I'd probably say another survival guy is Ben Blevins.
Ben Blevins.
Ben Blevins.
Okay. It's not who I was expecting, but I like it. I like the outside of the box. My next one was.
You got to pick some of those.
I like that. My next one was, you and your girl are out for a night in the town. Who would you trust to babysit Riley if you had to pick one?
I would say Lorenz Metz, just because of how much of a teddy bear he is, and he's got an awesome wife that could help him. But I mean,
That's
he's
true.
the definition of a gentle giant.
Yeah.
Who's the last person you want watching your kid on the team?
I'm going to say this because we always joke around about it, but Josh Wiley.
I knew it.
For
I had
sure.
a feeling. I had a feeling to be 81. Oh man, I like that. That's freaking great. You boys got anything else for our man?
I'm good.
Dio, dude. First, welcome to the Rock of Truth family, man. So happy to have you here. Thank you for putting time out of your night. Yeah, man, we appreciate it. Tell Riley we say what up. And Let's go beat the Bulls, huh?
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yep. Good luck this weekend, brother.
All right, man. Thanks. See you guys.
See ya.
All right, boys. Well,
We were
that was
dealing with a little bit of a lag there, but we made it through.
Even with the lag though, like Dio's awesome.
Yeah, man, he's a fun dude.
didn't realize that's your first time meeting him, Joe.
No, yeah, he's on my Mount Rushmore of guests. I never even met the guy before.
Yeah, Dio's a great guy, dude. He's fun to be around. He's just all around good dude, man.
Love it. Let's talk a little Bulls, huh?
Yeah.
And you guys got anything to say about them?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I mean, before you guys get into like real football talk, like, I'll just be honest with like our fans and like I'll be honest with the Rock audience. Like, I know I said earlier, like I'm been so excited to never play Tulsa again. I feel the same way about like every game moving forward here outside of like UCF and Houston. So I want everyone to know like I think we're all like just counting down the days till we're in the Big 12 and we can talk about like cool football every week. So I'm not like trying to like play down the Bulls at all. Like we've had some great past times when they were good back in the Big East, but for the last like 5-6 years, they've just turned into like another Tulane for me. So like not too fired up, but like excited it's homecoming. Excited to hear about Sopko's story with Kelsey and like excited to get the score predictions. So I'd like to hear what you guys have to say, but I'll probably like be quiet for the next few minutes as you guys talk about the Bulls.
Joe Met wants nothing to do with the American Athletic Conference anymore. All right. Good to know. Jake, I mean, I don't have a ton. I think that quarterback, I mean, transfer from Baylor, he's supposed to kind of be, I mean, I honestly haven't paid much attention to the Bulls. I really haven't. I'm pretty sure I thought I saw either before last week's game, I mean, they didn't have any passing touchdowns.
Nope.
Or maybe they still don't.
You might be right. I completely forgot that they had that transfer until you just said that right now.
Bohannon?
They got their first one last week.
Thank you, Aaron. All right. Good for them.
Do you think Aaron's pumped up for this game against the Bulls? Do you think he kind of feels like me where he's just like, I'm done with this conference?
I have to do the AAC recap every Sunday night, and I want to throw myself off the Brent Spence Bridge. So
It's such a crappy conference. Everyone feels
the expert.
Dude, the Bulls. I didn't have much. I just did a quick little look into what they got going on. They're 1-4. They still kind of stink. They played Florida tight, almost beat Florida, but they didn't. They got their ass kicked the past 2 weeks. They're allowing 487 yards a game. That's a lot. I'd expect the Bearcats to toss the ball around the yard. I think they'll have some pep in their step. I think it's supposed to be a nice day out of the nasty natty. Homecoming, obviously, is going to be electric out there. Cats minus 27.5. I wouldn't hate taking that, man. I feel like they're going to blow them out. I don't have a whole lot of like X's and O's to talk about. I think they'll blow them out.
Do you have a score prediction? Do you guys have score predictions?
I'll cook one up. Go ahead, Jake.
Give me like 42-14. Cats.
Nice. All right.
Just pulled that out.
Yeah. 42-14. That's covering. You hit on the weather a little bit. It's a high of 59 on Saturday. So the Bulls will probably be in long sleeves, even though they like to come out to cold games at Nippert shirtless and try and talk shit. Like it just doesn't work.
Dude, they do talk a bunch. That's always been a big thing.
And, I think that game against Florida, it's just in-state rival. They're trying to sneak out an upset. I wouldn't read into it too big. Now, props to Gino here the Bearcats have never been a team in any sport. This goes with basketball. Like, we start so slow. And this football season, we've had a lot of kind of quick scores scoring early in games. And I think, that's a testament to the OC. And now everybody wants to say, well, we got 2 halves of football to play. Like, I totally understand it, totally get it. But I do think it's going to continue to benefit us, obviously, scoring early and scoring often. And yeah, I think 2:30, it's going to be it'll probably be 50 degrees, a little chilly, which is perfect, I think, for the Bearcats. My score prediction, I'll go 42-7. They just got their first passing touchdown against ECU last week. I think we're going to stuff the run again. Again, I'm not talking off a lot of data, a lot of info. I didn't research them a lot. I'm like Joe Met, ready to get out of here.
Do you want to know my score prediction?
You probably are going to say we're going to lose somehow, aren't you?
52-9 Bearcats. Yeah, 3 field goals, and Bearcat Twitter is going to be going nuts on why USF has like a good kicker or something. That's what usually happens.
Why can't we get that kicker?
How does USF have such a good kicker? Like, you can just see it all over Twitter. Like Bearcat Todd, 22.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
I love that. Dude, it's homecoming. Are your boys coming back into town, Joe? Frat bros?
A good amount of them are coming back into town. We're gonna get the tailgate fired up. I'm gonna try. Well, I have to run. I'm in charge of homecoming this week at the high school I work at. So I gotta be in charge of all that. So I'm trying my best to figure out if I can make it down for a little bit. Man, I didn't miss a game for 5 years, and I might miss 2 in a row at home. So yeah, I think we're gonna figure it out. So don't count me out. That's all I'm gonna tell you guys. Don't count me out for Saturday.
Never would. Yeah, never would when it comes to the Bearcats. But real quick, dude, shout out to you. I mean, you putting on for that school, now named the girls varsity basketball head coach. That's awesome, dude. Let's go, Eagles. Pack the nest, dude. Congratulations, brother. That's super awesome.
Thanks, fellas. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're gonna have to pull some games, bro. Are you gonna be running like 3-2 zone? Like, what are we gonna do? The Syracuse 2-3? Like, what do we got going on?
Sunday, actually, I'm gonna be watching a lot of huddle film and trying to figure out kind of what we have on paper and see what I think might work. And we're just gonna kind of, as we go this season, we're gonna try and throw probably a ton of different stuff in and different sets and stuff like that. So we're gonna work on it. Actually, shout out my associate head coach, Zach Anderson. For those of you that are diehard Bearcat fans, he was the video coordinator for the women's team for the last 14 years. So good dude. He's my associate head coach. I actually have Sam Rogers. She was a women's basketball player at UC for 4 years. She's our JV coach. So I've kind of put together like a decent staff here in the last few days.
That's awesome.
And it's
Sam was a baller.
Sam was a beast.
Like a huge Bearcat staff on Snyder Road. Let's get this thing rolling. So I've been hiring Bearcats all over the place.
Pack the nest, dude.
Yeah.
Love it, man. I just want to close up, week in review. I know, obviously homecoming. Bearcats going for 30th straight home win. Impressive. Love to see us get there. Coach Fick gonna be tied for first in wins in program history. That was fast.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fast. Especially obviously how he started. And Tyler Scott added to the Bolitnikoff award list. Did I say that right?
That sounds right to me.
Bolitnikoff, sure. And Mason Fletcher winning Ray Guy Player of the Week last year. Ivan winning, the linebacker of the week prior. So getting national news, seeing the Seapaw flying a lot, and you just gotta love it. So yeah, keep the wheels rolling.
Are we getting the locks of the week here? I want to hear Statty's lock of the week. UConn, who are you taking?
Dude, I haven't hit once. Not one time. So I don't think I deserve to go first. In all honesty.
I hit last week. I'm on a hot streak.
You keep it rolling then. Go ahead.
All right. So I hit Wake Forest to cover and money line against Florida State last week. Shout out to the Demon Deacons for getting me in the winners column. And what I had this week, I had a couple I was going back and forth at. I'm going North Carolina, Miami over 66. I don't think any defense is going to be played down at Hard Rock Stadium. Everybody's going to throw the ball around the yard. UNC is actually dogs plus 3.5. I kind of like that too. So I'm taking the over. And if you're into parlaying, you want to do some fun, parlaying of the overs, take the over in the Red River shootout, Texas, Oklahoma. I think that's at like 66. You always got to take the over in that.
Well, what? I think both teams scored 60 last year.
Something like that. Quinn Ewers is back.
And you think he's going to come in firing? Well, Oklahoma clearly can't guard anybody.
Yeah.
Man.
They got some guns. Yeah.
Joe, Matt, we lost you on video, but I'll go ahead and go. I kind of have I'm going to go bold prediction here. At home, 3:30, probably the worst home atmosphere, like fan base in the country. But we're going to take them at 3.5 dogs as UCLA Bruins at home against Utah. And I think that they're going to go ahead and win the Pac-12. I think that they're a sneaky team, and everybody else is going to keep beating each other. And then, I think they'll lose at some point, but I still think they're going to come out on top. And yeah,
I watched their game against Washington last week. They had some fans come out. They look good, dude. DTR is one of those guys who's been playing college football for like 14 years. He's been there forever.
Kind of that old school guy, like what you used to see a lot in like the 2010 era was you just needed one guy and you're going to get wins, Yeah. Not comparing him to Mariota or Lamar Jackson, but because they had a couple other good dudes on their team too. But just when you got a guy that explosive playing the quarterback position, you're always going to be in good position to win games. Joe, Matt, you got a 10-teamer parlay for us this week. What we got?
Here's my 3-leg parlay of the week. All right, let's get fired up. Okay.
Yes.
We got LSU money line against Tennessee. The Vols go down for the first time this year. Okay. The Fighting Brian Kelly's gonna win. Okay. I know people are gonna be mad at me, but I'm just telling you it's gonna happen.
You got purple on.
Number two. Okay. Kansas money line. I'm riding with the Jayhawks to get the 6-0 bowl eligible. All right. They are firing on all cylinders. And then third, but not last. Okay. Arkansas Razorbacks on a bounce back week against Mississippi State money line. 3 straight money lines. Soppy, if you put $10 on that, what would it win you? Can you look that up for us?
Yeah, you kind of put me on that. I wish you would have told me this.
Hold on, I got it.
Listen, LSU.
Dude, KJ Jefferson's not even playing, Joe.
Who cares? That makes it even better.
Dude.
I don't even need to know that. Now I want to hammer the Razorbacks even more.
You literally just went on ESPN and saw the first 3 games on the slate, and you're like, I'm going to pick the dogs to win.
Sure. Listen, dude, this is I'm trying to win people money. I want to win them big money. I don't want to win them like $20. I want to win like $400.
What happened in your play last week?
I almost won again. I was one team off.
So you're not winning people money.
No, but I'm gonna win them eventually because if they only put $10 down a week, eventually they're gonna get paid out a good amount. Wouldn't you agree, Soppy? Like my strategy is actually not as bad as you might think.
Yeah, I finally got in the winner's circle last week in my personal life, and I hit a 3-dog money line, 10 to win, like 150 or something. It was awesome. I never win a bet like that. It was crazy.
Have I ever told you guys the story of when me and Spani hit on like an 8-team parlay in the NFL? It was like unbelievable. We bet like 8 random teams and somehow hit like Kirk Cousins game-winning touchdown to like win this parlay. We were going nuts. It's like the best Sunday night of my life.
All right, Joe, I got it.
All right, what is it again?
$10.
10 wins you $252.50.
Hey, listen, Statty. Hey, it's worth it, dude.
No, it's not.
Should I lock it in right now?
Yes, do it. Seriously, do it, please.
No, dude, I hate that.
LSU, Kansas, and Arkansas.
Hammer it. Dude, put down $30 just for fun.
No, dude.
How much does $10 win to bet the complete opposite?
Probably not nearly as much.
Probably $10.
Hey,
Yeah.
go. I want you to talk to Avery after this. Just kind of consider it, and then I want you to put like $50 down that parlay and see what happens.
She'll
That's
not-
like
she'll
that's
not
like
go for that.
that's like a month straight of date nights.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay.
You'll
We'll
be
see.
sorry. You'll be
Well, you
sorry
know-
if you don't end up doing it, dude.
I'll let you know what she says.
Fellas, episode 6. This was a blast.
I had fun tonight.
Dio is great. Got to get him back on here.
Hey, listen. Next week, we'll do a cheers to not having to play USF for a long, long time.
Please. Still one of my favorite stadiums to ever go to, though. Place is pretty neat.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa.
Raymond James, baby. I love it.
All right, fellas. It was awesome talking with you this week. I'll see you next week.
Go Bearcats.
Cats by 90, baby.